Good evening, everybody. I would like to declare the meeting open. Councillors, I will deal with the mayoral election first. I have 2 nominations in front of me for the position of mayor. If there are no others, I will close nominations for the mayor. Councillors, I will put the 2 names that I have in front of me in the order in which I have received them. So, Councillor, the first nomination that I have is for Councillor Lake. Councillor Lake, do you accept this nomination? Thank you, Councillor Lake. The second nomination I have is for Councillor SARKIS. Councillor SARKIS, do you accept this nomination? I do. Thank you, Councillor. Councillor, for those in favour of Councillor Lake, please raise your hand. I have Councillor Faruqi, Councillor Lake, Councillor HUANG, Councillor Coleman, Councillor Elmore, Councillor Saha, Councillor Hamed, Councillor Hussain and Councillor Cummings. Thank you. For all those in favour of Councillor SARKIS, please raise your hand. I have Councillor Garrard, Councillor CHRISTOU, Councillor Hughes, Councillor Zeta, Councillor RAHME and Councillor SARKIS. Councillors, on that basis, I declare Councillor Lake the mayor. Madam Mayor, will you please come and take your chair? Councillors, I will now conduct the Deputy Mayor election. Councillors, as returning officers, I now invite nominations for the position of Deputy Mayor for the ensuing term in accordance with Council's resolution. I remind you that nominations must be in writing and that in accordance with the Local Government Act and Regulations, 2 or more councillors must nominate a councillor for the position of Deputy Mayor. Councillors, I have 2 nominations for the position of Deputy Mayor. I'll read them out in order in which they have been received. Councillor HUANG, do you accept this nomination?
I do.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor RAHME, do you accept this nomination?
I do.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillors, I will now put it to the chamber in order in which I've received. All those in favour of Councillor 1, please raise your hand. I have Councillor Lake, Councillor Faruqi, Councillor HUANG, Councillor Coleman, Councillor Elmore, Councillor Hussain, Councillor Saha, Councillor Hamed and Councillor Cummings. For all those in favour of Councillor RAHME, please raise your hand. I have Councillor Garrard, Councillor CHRISTOU, Councillor Hughes, Councillor Zeta, Councillor RAHME and Councillor SARKIS. Councillors, on that basis, I declare Councillor HUANG Deputy Mayor.
The diversity at this table. As a Labor Mayor, you can expect that my priorities will be very practical. To ensure that this council is outwardly focused and delivering on the ground to meet the needs of our rapidly expanding population, multiculturalism, a diversity of housing. And so, as Mayor, I consider it my obligation on behalf of the Cumberland community to lead a council of substance that Council's budget priorities, whilst fiscally responsible, will also recognise and respond to the challenges that beset our community.
Tonight, we also have our first Muslim Bangladeshi Australian elected to Cumberland Council. My running mate, Councillor Dr. Faruqi, a PhD in education, and I look forward to her wisdom and contribution to our future council debates. Such a wonderful multicultural country.
We dedicate a lot of time and sacrifice a lot of time to be here away from our families. And
what a wonderful achievement it is to finally have a Labor woman leading this council. And an even better achievement is that an Australian with Lebanese heritage as her deputy. This is Chinese, I beg your pardon. The nerves are kicking. The nerves are kicking in. The nerves are kicking in. Racism not welcome, and the racism that I look forward to a much more collaborative, harmonious, cooperative council moving forward under this new leadership.
I hope that under your leadership, the priorities of this council to be outwardly focused, not only talk about diversity. We believe in multiculturalism, the great diversity that our community have. I also believe in the inclusiveness.
And it is one of the most multicultural community.
But I want to give this guarantee to the people of Cumberland that our side of the chamber intends to work very hard to work together in this chamber in order to support our residents. But at the end of the day, we see financial sustainability of our council as a major statement. There's been many critical issues, but none could be more critical than the finances of this organisation. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be the finances that are going to enable what you've stated, whether we're able to have more cultural events, park improvements, more libraries, more playgrounds, more community centres our town centres being upgraded. All of these issues are going to take money. And we appreciate probably the flippant attitude that the Labor Party had towards a lot of those issues. But at the end of the day, we're going to be saying to the community, say to this chamber, that we wish to keep this chamber accountable to our communities, and financially accountable is going to be a very big cornerstone of where we go.
You definitely have a difficult task ahead of you. Representing 240,000 people is no small ask. One of the biggest super councils in New South Wales. We all represent sectors of the community, and together I know we can make a difference, and I look forward to making that difference. But I also want to emphasise that this side of the chamber will be holding any bad decisions accountable, because that's what we're here for. We'll be here to support the good decisions, and we'll be here to hold accountable any bad decisions and highlight them, in particular around finances, because we have a very poor community and they expect bang for their dollar, because we are going to have political differences, because we come from a very diverse group.
We all look forward to the vigorous debate that we know will follow in the ensuing months.
Whether you're on, and I'll use this term, although I don't like it, this side of the chamber or that side of the chamber, we're here to support each other. And yes, we don't see eye to eye on many items. But the diversity that we have today,
very diverse and reflective of our community, the Labor values of fairness, integrity and respect.
It's time to move forward. It's time to restore Cumberland's reputation. Cumberland Council, I've heard people from other councils saying, what's going on at Cumberland Council, our reputation wasn't good. Traditionally, we always say a few words about the outgoing mayor, and I just want to go back to what my old mum said many years ago before she passed away. She said, if you haven't got anything good to say to anybody, don't say anything. So that's being said, I'll leave it there.
Well, councillors, we still have another item of business on our agenda, and it's the first time we've had to consider the idea of opting in for countback elections rather than by-elections.
Recommendation, I'd move that we have a by-election.
Yes. There's a seconder, Councillor CHRISTOU.
And it's nice to see after 12 or 13 years on council, Councillor almost still hasn't learnt much.
Councillor Coleman.
Yes, thank you. I would like to move an amendment, and I move an amendment that we adopt the recommendation. This amendment supports the recommendation that if a councillor vacancy occurs within the first 18 months, the position is to be filled via a countback of the 4th of December 2021 election rather than holding a by-election. A by-election costs more than $300,000, whereas a countback is only 5% of this, around $15,000.
I'll put the amendment. All those in favour of the Coleman Faruqi amendment? All those against? I declare the amendment carried. I'll put the motion as amended. All those in favour of the motion as amended? I'm sorry. Sorry, Councillor SARKIS. All those against the amended motion? And I put the amended motion, and the amended motion's carried. Before I close the meeting, I'd like to note the passing away of Mr Bob Devlin and Mr Merv Ismay. Bob was the longest-serving mayor of Holroyd City Council. So on behalf of Cumberland Council, I'd like to send sincerest condolences to the families of both Bob Devlin and Merv Ismay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I first would like to congratulate yourself and the Mr Deputy Mayor, Councillor Wong.
I declare the meeting closed.